things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucks. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. As always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby. Something's happening here. Something truly special is happening with our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I got to be honest with you, man. I've only seen this happen twice in my entire lifetime. One was in 1998 when, as a 13-year-old kid, every single day I came home from school, the Yankees won. And they went on to have one of the most incredible seasons in MLB history. And it was just like, even when you got home from practice or whatever, if they weren't winning, they were going to come back and win anyway. They always found a way. Second time I saw it was back in the 2019 season. Unfortunately, we know how it worked out, but it just every single regular season game for our Tampa Bay Lightning, they found a way to win. And then subsequently, the next couple of days, or the next couple of years, you look at that team and you go, there's no surprise now that they went back-to-back with the Cups. And now you see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll talk about a lot of different things on the show today, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Honest Hammer and Ever Health, our partners. I'm rocking my 813 jersey from UT Baseball, probably the best jersey, the best third jersey in the game. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now are one of the best teams, not just in the NFL, but in all sports. Just watching the game again this morning, it was even better the second time. Now, of course, you're going to look at some of the kickoff coverages and you're going to look at the defense. You're going to look at some of the things they didn't do well. I get that. I get that. But there are certain games, there are certain situations where kind of throw caution to the wind. You know your defense isn't going to really be able to, that's not a game to kind of write home about it if you're a lover of a good battle and a good pitcher's duel. But sometimes you have to go on the road. You got to plant your feet right there in the middle of the ring, and you just got to start throwing haymakers. You just have to start swinging for the fences. And that's exactly what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did. We know how good Seattle was coming out of the first quarter. The Buccaneers did a great job there, taking the lead into halftime. Seattle bounced back. I was very impressed by Seattle. Very impressed by Coach Mike McDonald and what Sam Darnold's been able to do. Man, you want to talk about situations? You want to talk about quarterbacks going to a place where they can succeed? Look no further than the two quarterbacks that were in that game yesterday. People were writing Sam Darnold off after his time in New York with the Jets. People were certainly writing Baker Mayfield off after his time with the Cleveland Browns. But those guys came out yesterday, Sam and Baker, and put on an absolute show. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Emeka Ibuka came out there and put on a motherfucking show. You know I don't like to curse unless it means it, but those two dudes are bad-ass mofos. That game yesterday was so impressive. Again, I watched it again this morning, and you just come away like, heavyweight fight. Heavyweight fight. Who's going to show up? Who's going to battle their ass off to the bitter end? I thought both teams battled their asses off. You looked, and it all comes down to one mistake at the end. Sam Darnold not having his feet set, and who comes up with the interception? The guy who dropped the interception a couple weeks ago. Everybody was busting his balls about it. Lavonte David comes through. Unbelievable play by Lavonte. And then Chase McLaughlin, who was not feeling good, comes out and kicks the winning field goal. He was 3 for 3 on the day for field goals, 3 for 3 on the day with extra points. This is a full team win. Complimentary football. The Buccaneers are 4-1 after 5 games. And it just, again, I said this early on in the season. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the new Tampa Bay Findaways. They just find a way to win. And you all know this as sports fans out there. It doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen very often where your team is in a position in tight games where you think they'll find a way. They're going to win this game some way, somehow. You are so, you just don't, you're not privileged with that very often as a sports fan. It's kind of worn off a little bit with the Lightning, hasn't it? We haven't had that with the Rays. Right now, you definitely feel that with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We felt it with the Rays and the Lightning in the past, no doubt about it. And there's other teams out there you think they'll find a way to win. They'll find a way to get it done. That's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at right now. They find a fucking way to get it done. Baker does the job. Tez Johnson does the job. Rashad White does the job. Levante David does the job. Every guy contributes in some form or fashion. Tyke Smith, Antoine Winfield Jr., everybody contributing. Good teams don't bitch about the players that aren't there. They go out there and win the damn game. What I love about the Buccaneers is when I look back at it now, they lost the game against the Philadelphia Eagles. They weren't bitching and moaning about who wasn't there. They were saying, man, if we clean up these mistakes, we're going to win this game. We could beat that team, and I guarantee you if they play the Eagles again, my money's on the Bucs. I loved watching that game yesterday. A super heavyweight matchup. Standing right there in the middle of the ring. It was Max Holloway standing, pointing in the middle of the ring with Justin Gaethje. Come on! Plant your feet in the middle of the octagon. Let's throw bombs. That's what we saw. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield going toe to toe. Football at its finest. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at its finest. It was like moving watching that game again this morning. It was like emotional because you knew the outcome, but you just look at the look on these guys' faces. And, Chase kicks the winning field goal. Baker goes over to Levante David. And again, how about Todd Bowles? 19-14, you're winning. Some people say don't chase the points after the Emeka Buka touchdown. He goes for 2. They get it. Then, when you score the touchdown with just over a minute to go with Shepard, not going for 2 there, I thought was the right call. Because remember, now that both teams get an opportunity to be able to get the ball in overtime, I think that's an opportunity to kind of change, right, how you play the last 90 seconds to 2 minutes of a football game. Because if you get to overtime, you're going to get a chance with the football even if the other team scores a touchdown. That changes. So I know the team wanted to, but it was the right call there. The right call there because you had to figure, okay, our defense let's just hold them here for 60 seconds, and then we'll go to overtime and see where we're at. I don't think that was the right time to go for 2 because the Buccaneers were not trying to escape with a victory. They weren't just trying to we're going to try to, looking at the clock. They weren't looking at that shit. They were saying, hey, for as long as there's time on the board, we're going to give it our best shot. We're standing in the middle of the octagon, throwing bombs and throwing haymakers. And that's what they did. The pressure gets to Sam Darnold. Levante David comes away with the interception. A fantastic run from a guy like Rashad White, who, if you look at the numbers, it's not going to stand out to you. 14 carries for 41 yards, but 2 touchdowns on the ground. 4 catches for 30 yards out of the backfield. It seemed like every single catch that he had was a big one. Every single person contributed. And you look at that offense too, right? 5 carries for 15 yards from Baker, scrambling at the right time. Baker threw 4 incompletions yesterday. 4. 29 of 33 for 379 yards. 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. There's 3 things that can be true about this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. At least 3. But these 3 things are true about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 1, Baker Mayfield is 1,000% in the MVP conversation. There is no discussion about that. Number 2, with all these injuries and with the ability that he has shown to adjust and adapt to an ever-changing game, Todd Bowles is most certainly on the short list for Coach of the Year candidates. Number 3, Emeka Egbuka is not just one of the best rookie wide receivers in the National Football League. Through 5 games this year, he is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. Just go look up his stats. Top 5 in yards, second most touchdowns, second most 20-plus yard plays behind Jackson Smith and Jigba. This team is the truth, the absolute truth. Is the season over? Not by a long shot. But from what we've seen through 5 games, I'm not putting my money on anybody else. I'm not. Because there's something different about championship teams. There's something different about teams that make long postseason runs. And they have a really long playoff. There's an intangible. There's something that you can't quantify with numbers. There's a belief that even when everything around you is falling, you're going to find a way to win. And for so many years, the Succaneers, and for so many years where this team was getting their games blacked out because they couldn't fill the old Sombrero, Raymond James Stadium. For so many years where this team was the laughingstock in all of professional sports. Forget about football. The losingest franchise of the 4 major sports prior to Tom Brady getting here. All of you out there that have grown up, you're a 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation Tampanian. This is the only team that you know. You've been through all the bullshit. Now look at you. Your team's 4-1. And they have a belief that is as strong as any teams in the National Football League. You look at certain teams and the lack of the killer instinct and lack of the hunger. And you look at the game last night with Buffalo and New England and all the self-inflicted wounds at home. And it's just like, does that look like a team that wants to win the Super Bowl? I saw a team in New England that went into Buffalo last night with Stephon Diggs going, hell no. We want it more than you. I saw Drake May, a 2nd-year quarterback, looking more composed than Josh Allen, who's an MVP. Even though Buffalo's talented as hell, even though they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, do you see that it factor? Do you see that intangible togetherness and belief that no matter what happens, they're going to win a game? They're relying on 17. As great as Baker Mayfield is, and as irreplaceable as he is, it's not just Baker that feels that way. It's not just Baker you rely on. It's Chase McLaughlin. It's Levante David. It's Bucky Irving, who wasn't even in the game. His replacement, Rachaad White. All of you Buccaneer fans out there that have been through all of the turmoil of watching this team, spending all of your disposable income on jerseys and tickets and just your time and your energy, the ups and the downs, enjoy this shit, man. There's something special about this team. And I feel like I have a unique perspective because I'm at the midway point of my life where I've spent 20 years in New York and 20 years in Tampa. And the Buccaneers are like an adopted team. Obviously, I started really following them when I moved here. But I feel like I have such an interesting perspective of covering sports and over the last decade because I get to see good friends of mine that were apologetic to be Bucs fans. Season tickets have been in my family for decades. I couldn't even get rid of tickets at certain times. I would leave 2 tickets on my windshield, and when I came back, there was 4 there, right? The old joke. Now, I don't think there's anything cooler in the NFL than being a Bucs fan. You can Give thanks to Tom Brady for that, for Bruce Arians for that, Jason Light for that, everybody. I don't know. Whatever. Drink it in, man. Drink it in, because this shit doesn't last forever. And you deserve it. I say this all the time. When I talk about the Rays, when I say this about the Rays, and I say you deserve better as a fan. You deserve to feel proud of your team. That's what the Buccaneers are going through right now. This feeling that you have for the Bucs, you should get that with the Rays too. You've had it with the Lightning, and obviously it goes up and down, and you have to wait for your team has got to be good, right? But it's not just that they're good. It's not just that the Bucs are good. It's the way they're good. It's the way that they go out there. And even though it may not look great, and even though they could go down at some point, or they'll fall behind, or they'll make a mistake, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Again, I go back to the discussion that we had before the season, or in the off season, about being so quick to get rid of a guy like Todd Bowles or Liam Cohen. Todd Bowles and his leadership, Jason Light and his leadership, and how it is permeated through this entire organization does not happen by accident. The guys that are in place at the top, that's success, man. That trickle-down effect is real. It's tangible. Look at the leaders on this team. Even the ones that aren't here. Mike Evans isn't even in this game. Bucky Irving isn't even in this game. Jamel Dean wasn't even in this game. Benjamin Morrison, Christian Izzy. Bro, Cody Mauch's not here. Luke Gedicke's not out there. Kalijah Cansey's gone. Think about this, man. They have leaders. They have franchise all-time greats on this team. The best offensive player for this team in its history wasn't even out there. And they went on the road in arguably the most hostile environment in the National Football League, and they put up 38 without Mike Evans. Chris Godwin was not much of a factor in this game, but Emeka Egbuka was. Who drafted him? That's why Jason Light does what he does, and that's why I do what I do. Didn't really understand the Emeka Egbuka thing at first. Now I get it. You all should too. Listen, nobody's perfect. I'm never going to sit here and say I got all the answers. So I'll admit when I was wrong. I didn't say it was the wrong pick. I was just wondering, hey, you really need to address some things on the defensive side of the ball. Was that this? Could you have gotten somebody else in that spot? Well, look at what Emeka Egbuka has done so far. Incredible. Watching this team do what they do. I can't wait till next week. That's how good the Buccaneers are. The Buccaneers are so good when the game is over, you can't wait to watch the next one. Tez Johnson, all 4 targets he came down with. 4 catches for 59 yards. And I want to shout out a guy. You're going to talk about a lot of different people today. But there's one man that I want to talk about right here, right now. This guy has flown under the radar for the first 4 games. This guy's been doing the grunt work. The stuff that he's doing is only showing up on tape when you look back. And people are wondering, what's going on? How come he's not more involved? Well, yesterday, in my opinion, was one of the best games in a Buccaneer uniform for Cade Otton. And you know how special it was for him. A Washington Husky grad, a guy who understands what being in the Pacific Northwest is all about. 4 catches for 81 yards. Did you see that screen pass that he caught from Baker Mayfield? And he broke 97 I'm not being hyperbolic here, but he broke 97 tackles to get the first down. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a microcosm of this team. That right there is an example of this never say die attitude that the Buccaneers have. And Cade Otton, who for the first 4 games of the season has been doing whatever it has taken to help out that offensive line. His job only got harder when O'Keefe went out. Think about it. Think about what their offensive line was looking like before Tristan Wirfs got back. And Cade, who you sure as hell, don't you think he wants to go out there and catch the ball and score touchdowns? Shit, yeah, man. Whatever the team needs. Blocking his ass off. Payne Durham blocking his ass off, doing whatever it takes to help this offensive line that was in shambles, but they've held it together. Shout out to Kevin Carberry with the offensive line. Shout out to Josh Grizzard. I thought he had one of his best games yesterday. This team, it's whoever is out there, they are willing to do whatever it takes to win. Sterling Shepard, 4 of his 5 targets he caught, including the huge touchdown at the end of the game. And I can't wait. Ian Beckles will join us in about 9-10 minutes here. Beck and I have been wondering what the identity of this team is. Is it running? Is it defense? Listen, are they a finished product? No, of course not. But, man, they are fun to watch. I think their identity might just be like never say die. Firefight. Like they don't care, man. They just go and they say, we're going to hang around. Sometimes it might be a little bit of a rope-a-dope back against the ropes and come out swinging. I don't know if there's ever been a better time to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan than right now. You start looking around, you're like, damn, they got a bunch of ballers. And it's not just talent. Intelligence. Heart. Balls. They got it all. How about Rachaad White running for a first down on 3rd down. And going down, sliding. One of the worst slides ever, but he stayed in bounds. But that's the heads up play, man. That's the wherewithal that you have. The Buccaneers aren't making stupid mistakes. We saw the Cardinals yesterday lose to the freaking Titans because DeMercado drops the football shy of the end zone again. Like, I don't understand how shit like that happens. I just don't get it. Let's read some of these comments, man. Questions, comments, concerns. Leave them there at the bottom of the screen. You guys are balling out right now. I know everybody's feeling good here in the Tampa Bay area. Tampa Bay. Jay, you good? Of course, man. I'm better than good, buddy. I'm better than I deserve. No doubt. Why isn't this working right here? Come on now. There we go. Baker, the touchdown maker. Now, if we can only get our special teams to tighten up, yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I think getting better. Punts were better. Janet Best and Baker, we trust. Happy victory Monday. That is right. Lady Evil in the house. What a freaking game. Baker and Ibuka are action heroes. Unfortunately, our pass rush was terrible again. Didn't see Yaya all afternoon. He did have that tip pass that Cooper Kupp came down with. Listen, they ran the football effectively with Kenneth Walker. They got the ball out of Sam Darnold's hands quickly. They did what they had to do. I was very impressed with Clint Kubiak and what that Seattle offense was able to do. Mondays sure are better when your team wins. That defense was certainly porous, but thank God we got Baker, the touchdown maker. Winning solves a lot of things, people. Happy Victory Monday. David Velasquez, shout out to Logan Hall. His head was in the right place yesterday. Another guy that just ends up going out there and does whatever it takes to win. What up, Jay Bird? Our guy Bart Hill in the house as well. Logan sealed it with the heads up play. Got that right. Christopher Cole. What's up, buddy? This game reminded me of the Yuri Prohaska 3rd round TKO versus Khalil Rountree. Greg, I love you, but you've totally misspelled Yuri Prohaska and Khalil. We're going to go over the UFC 320 card, especially the final 2 fights. Alex Pereira and my guy, Merab Dvalishvili. I mean, whoa, wow. Insane. 2 of the greatest fighters of all time, no doubt. Honest Hammer, sub Jam fam, huge W on the road. Huge W for you. Golfing this weekend, buddy. Hope you had a good time. Levante David catches a lot of flack, but he made the big play when he counted. Listen, and I hear what you're saying, Stephanie. But, I mean, we get it with Levante, right? There's going to be some tackles that are missed. We saw the one on the touchdown of the tight end. I mean, you just kind of live with it, man. There's certain things that, there's a give and take. And No, Levante, that leadership, man, the way he's out there busting his ass, coming up with the big play. I just can't say enough nice things about him. Ian was, hello, Tampa Bay, Jay Recher, our guy Nathan Elliott in the house. What is Ian's texting in, man? Look at this guy, huh? We'll get to him in a couple minutes. Dolan, heavy applause for Todd Bowles and Josh Grisald. Hello, all the degenerates out there. Victory Monday for the Tampa Bay Heart Attacks. Bill Cowher, the Buck. I don't really. He's another guy. He's a guy. Let's see. Baker got the dog in him. You got that right, buddy. Baker was built to be a Bucks QB from J Gatto 305. Yeah, I don't debate that, man. There's something endearing about Baker. There's something when you look at him. He embodies what you want in a professional athlete, right? He's not the biggest guy. He's not Justin Herbert. He's not Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't look like he's carved out of granite. He looks like a guy that you can go to the bar with and drink a beer with. And he does that with his offensive lineman. When a guy like that lowers his head and a guy like that just gives everything he's got, like he's an easy guy to root for. You forgot EE was a wasted pick at 19 and Light should have traded White. You're right. A lot of people were saying that. No doubt about it. Rob G. Happy double victory Monday. USF Big Dub Saturday and resilient Bucks coming through. You got that right, buddy. No doubt about it. Jake Kobe going through all the losing in the late 2000s is all worth it to see our team be contenders like this. Remember when people said, oh, this team can't win in the creamsicles? Okay. There you go. Let's see. Tej Johnson and I was thinking that same thing, Greg. Tej Johnson, they got in the third round. Think about the 2025 Buccaneers draft class. And just think about their contributions already. Emeka Egbuka, okay? Enough said. Benjamin Morrison, we know he's dealing with injuries, but we've seen flashes. David Walker's out for the year. We get that. Jacob Parrish, I mean, I love the kid. He's only going to get better. Tej Johnson, hold on. Clicked on the wrong one. That was just the standard guys that they had. There we go. Let's not forget Elijah Roberts as well. Another guy that's in there rotating on the defensive line, taking heat off of some of these other guys. So Logan Hall and Greg Gaines and Vita Vea can be fresh. Man, another absolute home run. For Jason Light. Unbelievable, man. Got to give a shout out to Chase McLaughlin as well, kicking with the flu. You got that right. But look at all these people. All of these. Listen, if you're watching right now, man, click on that like button. Click on that like button. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at JRecher, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. The Bulls are number 24 in the country, Robert Gargan. I know you like that, buddy. I know you like that. Honest Hammer, great call, Jay. Kate Otten has been a blocker, and they finally could get him some passes yesterday. Fire the cannons. I mean, just look at all of these people chiming in today. Jeremy Lowe, Egbuka is that dude. What a steal Jason Light got. This guy just keeps getting better and better. I will proudly admit I was wrong about the Egbuka pick. He's a dude. It happens. It happens, man. That's okay. I mean, there's certain people out there that are going to say that they always get everything right, and they're going to make these crazy proclamations, and then when they're not right, they just disappear into the abyss. That ain't happening here. Great weekend for TB. Bulls winning ranked again. Bucks win in dramatic fashion again, and Bolts wrap up preseason with no injuries for opening night. Yes, everything that we heard today was great. It was great. Because Victor had been back on the ice. Eric Chernak with a full face shield back on the ice. Hagel back on the ice. Radish back on the ice. The only guy that wasn't on the ice today, Dominic James wasn't out there, and Zemgus Girgensons. Did you watch that Lightning Panthers game over the weekend? Whoa. Unbelievable. You went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. I mean, what was the final score? 7-0? Nobody cared. Lightning called up 6 guys from Syracuse just to whoop somebody's ass. That's what it's all about. Don't mess with the Lightning. Enough was enough. for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we'll talk about that in the 1 o'clock hour. But we're going to keep the Buccaneers conversation going, and we're going to do it at 12:30 every Monday with our guy, Ian Beckles, Chamberlain assistant coach and Buccaneers legend, Ian Beckles. What's going on, Big Backpack?
Everything is good, man. I'm just I'm curious about the shirt. I can't.
Oh, this is the third jersey from UT baseball. So this is an Evo Shield logo right here.
Evo Shield, okay.
Evo Shield is one of the guys. You ever see the guys with like the wrist guards and the ankle guards and the elbow?
Stand up so I can see the whole thing.
Oh, it's 813. It's got the thing from UT.
Okay.
Yeah, you would really like this, man. I'm going to show you one day. It's got all the different little things from UT.
Yeah, I was curious. I just saw a lot of Tampa stuff, but I didn't know what was going on, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do is like they're gonna make them again. I'm gonna try to get them to make you one because
4X,
I know
4X, please.
No, I know that's why I'm gonna tell Joe Urso to get you one because, bro, people have been trying to buy these. They don't sell them, but they had an extra one and they gave one to me, and I'm like, dude, they're like, people are gonna try to buy this jersey from you because when they broke them out, I'm like, bro, they ain't no shit like this. There's no
money, make that money.
Make that money.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's start here. You and I have been wondering what the identity is for this Buccaneers team. I mean, we love to see, all right, running game or stopping the run. Is it just like they find a way to win? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes we might try to get too deep into the weeds of trying to find out what the exact identity is. But, Beck, if they have belief, right, and they just find a way, whether it's a Baker touchdown or a Levante David interception, it's just the Tampa Bay find-a-ways. Is that an acceptable answer for our never-ending question that we've been trying to answer the last couple of weeks?
Well, to this point, yeah, that's the answer. That's their identity. Listen, if you think that a team's gonna go through 17 weeks winning like this, it's just not like yesterday's game. You know, I heard people say 60 minutes of football. Not defensively, it wasn't. I mean, they were wide open defensively, okay? And the problem with the average fan is, and listen, we're celebrating and it's a win and we're 4-1. That's why it's okay to speak this way. Because we are not peaking right now. No way. We weren't peaking offensively before this game. Then we blew up offensively. And when you give up 5 straight drives with a touchdown, you almost never are in the game, okay? Right. So the Buccaneers figure out shorthanded, on the road, without their best player. I heard you talking earlier, other than New Orleans, maybe one of the toughest places to play, okay? It's just a tough place to go. And to do that and win in a shootout says a lot about, to me, the organization in general and just the fight behind closed doors and how much they love Todd Bowles. There's no doubt, because I think when you win a bunch of different ways, it just says a lot about the character of your team.
Very well said. Very well said. I'm like watching this game yesterday, and it's like, Rashad's not worried about Bucky. Emeka's not worried about Mike Evans. Right? Nope. They're not worried. And we've talked about this last couple of weeks, talked about it with Martin Gramatica last week. Good teams don't make excuses, Beck. They're not like, well, if we would have had this or there's no woulda. I hate woulda, coulda, shouldas. I hate apologies. I hate woulda, coulda, shouldas. I hate if, ands, or buts. This Buccaneers team is not about any of that. It's next man up, go out there and do your job.
And listen, watching that team yesterday, one thing you say about the Buccaneers, they play hard. All right. It's not always good. It's not. They play hard. It's seriously. I mean, there's so many things, and I do my podcast before this one, and I usually when I'm watching the game, I usually write a bunch of notes, and some of them sometimes you look through the notes and 80% of them are negative, and they still win. You see what I'm saying? And the Buccaneers were in a funny place, but 80% of it wasn't negative. 80% of it was positive. But there's still a few things. Just listen to this, Jay. We're gonna get a right tackle back. We're going to get our number 1 receiver back, who may be a number 2 or number 3 when he gets back. We just found our tight end again, okay? We're going to get our shutdown cornerback. So these are big pieces. How about the most explosive piece of our offense? We're going to get that back in the middle of the season, fresh with fresh legs. Now, it's about peaking. When the Bucs won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, at this juncture of the season, they weren't that good. They just weren't. And they weren't figuring out ways to win, and then it kind of happened. While these guys are figuring themselves out, they're winning. And that's the best thing in the world because they're not peaking. I'm telling you, they're not peaking. When they peak, it may be fun to watch.
What'd you see from the offensive line now that they got their second game under their belt now for there was some plays out there. Baker had some time to peruse the field, huh?
I think both quarterbacks had a lot of time all game long, and as there was, the statistics say, you won't continuously win without a pass rush in the NFL. It's just not going to happen. So that's the one part of that I said in the podcast. They got to improve the pass rush. Somehow they got to get to the quarterback better. That being said, with a backup right guard and a backup right tackle, I give them an A+ for it, just in general for their play. I mean, I wouldn't think going on the road when it's loud against a good defense, is tough sledding in any situation, and have two backups. And Baker had a lot of time quite often. So I'm liking the way they're playing. I know Heck is not grading out well, but they're winning despite, having two liabilities on the right side. But they're holding up. But it ain't always pretty, that's for sure.
I think what I heard yesterday was Heck actually grades out pretty good against the run. So that's helped out good. On the pass, it wasn't great. So
I know the previous game, I don't think he graded out very well.
No, he didn't. He didn't. No. It was funny. Tristan Wirfs on one of those Rashad White touchdown runs. He was just like, "Get out of here, bitch!" And he just tosses this guy, and it's just he's such a freak. And to be able to get him back, it's not just his play on the offensive line. He just establishes that attitude, doesn't he?
Well, if you would have asked me any years what would take for Tristan Wirfs to get better, it would have been the same answer the whole time. You got to get a little meaner. For me. Okay, he's getting meaner. He is getting meaner in front of us. He's getting because sometimes, Jay, and I've probably told you this before. Sometimes when you miss football or you're out of football, but you're still around it, you watch it and you pick up things. There was one year that I missed the first 6 games of the season, so I became a coach, and then I picked up little things, and I think he's picked up things because his second effort's there. He's trying to finish blocks. I hear him getting a little nasty, and I didn't think there was much room for him to get better, but that's a bad boy. Twice yesterday, on one of the sweeps, he made 2 blocks, okay? 2 blocks, and in the other one, he just ragdolled the defensive back that shouldn't have been there. The defensive back was just like, oh, snap. And he just got ragdolled into the end zone, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
He's amazing. Just an incredible player. And for my money, the best left tackle in the game. Like, I don't think it's close. He's getting better. I feel like he just keeps getting better. You're like, oh, yeah, he's dealing with injuries. Like, didn't even look like he was rusty. Like, the guy's going out there and doing incredible things. I'm just so impressed with him. Another guy I was impressed with, and you mentioned it a little bit before, and I said it. I want to give Cade Otton his flowers today on multiple occasions because we know how crazy it is for that offensive line, and he's part of the reason why I think it hasn't gone into shambles, and Baker hasn't had pass rushers in his lap for the first 5 weeks. And then playing in front of, I'm sure, a bunch of family and friends because he went to Washington up there. He goes out there. He had that third effort on that first down play, on that third down play that led to a first down. I mean, what can you say about a guy like Cade Otton where if you're an offensive lineman, right? When those tight ends are in and they're helping, like, the difference between the tight end that's in there, it's really helping and grinding, and another guy that's just trying to be a glorified wide receiver. What can you say about Cade Otton through 5 weeks?
Cade Otton, since he's been here, has been an anomaly because it's feast or famine, okay? Because if you remember the beginning of the year last year, he was the go-to guy, like the number one guy. Like Baker was going to him, was great. And then the middle of the season came and it just stopped. So before yesterday, I didn't even know he was playing because you never heard his name. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2 targets a game for 15 yards or something like that. I'm like, where's the old Cade Otton? And yesterday, he looks like he has fresh legs. He's bouncing off people. I'm like, why are we not? What happened? Where was that? Okay, it doesn't even seem like we were trying to get him the ball, but to say we're not trying to get him the ball is saying that Baker's not throwing to him when he's open, and I don't know if that's the situation.
Is it because he's helping out too much with the blocking? I mean, is Josh Grizzard? Because I think what goes into it too, Beck, is remember you got a young play caller, first time calling plays, and I think in his mind, right? And it's hard to know because we're just speculating here, but if you're Josh Grizzard in the first 4, 5, 6 weeks in the season, knowing that you don't have Tristan and then learning that Mike, and then you lose Keith, who's your pseudo H-back, fullback, tight end kind of guy. I think Josh Grizzard is like, hey, just don't get Baker killed, overdo it on the protection aspect of it. And then as we kind of learn and we get pieces back, then we can open up the offense. Because I still, and we talked about this last week, like the offense still wasn't firing on all cylinders. Maybe that was it, Beck. Maybe it was just like, hey, let's keep more guys in. Let's try to protect Baker. Let's try to win the game playing smart and using our defense. I think that strategy, which looks like it is, it's paid off. They're 4-1 through 5 games. And now when you get a chance to open it up a little bit like you did in Seattle, you put 38 points against a damn good defense in one of the toughest places to play in the league.
Well, there was a difference between the rest of the season and yesterday, okay? There's a difference. And you may just hit it right on the head, Jay. I think Grizzard maybe said to the line, you guys got to be big boys and take care of your business because we got to score more points and get the tight ends out, because there was clearly a difference yesterday.
No doubt.
When Otten was – and he looked good. Like, he looked sleeker. He was moving well. Maybe – listen, Jay, football's funny. I'm going to tell you, okay? Sometimes you just ain't healthy, brother. You know what I mean? And there's not too many. You're not healthy, and you're out there. You're trying to plug it out, and you're not getting open. Maybe his body's feeling better now because he was moving around like he would been the number one target all year long. But if you couldn't, Jay, when Mike Evans comes back and Chris Godwin is 2 or 3 more weeks in, because Chris Godwin's not quite there yet, clearly, and I told you he wouldn't be. When Chris Godwin starts to peak and Mike Evans come back and Igbuka, who's going to be number one. Mike Evans not number one no more. Igbuka's number one, okay? Listen, they're titles, right? So there's going to be some.
Oh, we lost again. You got to slide it up. Nope, stop. We lost it again. Back.
Yeah, somebody's
there we
calling
go.
me. That's very rude.
Go ahead. Sorry. The titles. You're saying Igbuka with the titles.
Yeah, I mean, titles to me, like somebody says number 1, number 2. You can't tell me Chris Godwin's a number 2 guy when he was leading the league in receiving. Right. So you can't tell me Mike Evans is number 2.
Right.
So they don't really have titles. And when they all come back, all 3 of them come back, and Bucky comes back with fresh legs. And if we had those guys for the last 6 weeks of the season and they're all healthy, I mean, it can be fantastic. That's a possibility.
Why has it been so easy for Emeka Egbuka? And maybe easy is not the right word, but I mean, you're talking about 4th most receiving yards in the game, 2nd most touchdowns, 2nd most 20-plus yard plays. I mean, you're going to get Jalen McMillan back, too, at the end of the year, too. Let's not forget about him. I mean, he was fantastic He was just a touchdown maker last year in the end of his first year. But what is it about Emeka Egbuka? How can a guy like that, because you and I speak about this, it's tough to adjust to the National Football League, but there are certain guys, Beck, that you go out there and it's all of a sudden they hit the ground running, and then before you know it, you look up and at the end of the year they've got 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, and you're like, holy shit, man, this guy's a badass.
Well, when people were asking the question why Jason Light, got Egbuka, the answer is because he was too good to pass. That's the answer. Okay, now we're seeing that clearly because we didn't need a wide receiver, wasn't the first thing on the list. And the reason why evaluating football talent is the hardest thing to do on the planet. I just don't think there's any sport that's harder to evaluate. Like the first pick in hockey is usually really good. It's usually other sports are usually really, really good. At worst, solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's been the first pick in the draft been absolutely terrible. So the answer, Jay, and this is the answer to everybody's question, his game suits the NFL. Because how many great passers do we see out there that just couldn't play, or great receivers that get to the league and there's something they're missing and it just doesn't work? I mean, loads and loads and loads and loads of them. So when you find a guy like Egbuka, because now, like Tristan Wirfs, I conceded early. I don't need to concede to this dude who's leading the league and stuff. It doesn't matter what I think, but I do know this. When other teams put that film on, they're going to have to talk about him. That's for sure. He may be the first person they talk about next week.
He's just so smooth with it. Man. It doesn't like it. Some guys just make it look easy, right? And when you can do that, man, you can be a factor early on. And we've seen that. Wide receiver, running back, those skill positions, man, sometimes they get to the league, and the adjustment process, the learning curve isn't as steep as it is in other positions. I want to ask you about Levante David because he has had some missed tackles. We saw one yesterday on one of the touchdowns, but he comes away with a big interception.
Yeah.
Beck, talk about the balance of the leadership of Levante David and what he brings on the field and also what he brings in the locker room, and kind of balance that out with, some of the diminishing returns where, of course, man, he's in his mid to late 30s. Like, he's not gonna be as spry as he once was. He's gonna miss some tackles. I mean, it's a trade-off. It seems like the Buccaneers, they'll live with.
Well, unfortunately for Levante David, he came after Derek Brooks, and he plays the same position. And I'm being serious about unfortunately because that's what I measure things from. Okay, and there's very few in the history of will linebackers that are better than Derek Brooks. Period. In the history of it. So I hear people comparing them, and I don't like that comparison. That being said, if you looked at the end of Derek Brooks's career, he wasn't the same player. Nobody's the same player, okay? Especially positions. Some offensive linemen, they can continue to get better. But when you talk about linebackers, I mean, that's a very athletic position.
It's a lot of running.
You pulled hamstrings and stuff. Like an offensive lineman can play after a week with a pulled hamstring, okay? If you're a linebacker, and this is going to happen, you get old, you ain't going to do it. So Levante David is kind of pulling himself through games. I guarantee, like I know what my body feels like at 58, but even when I was 31 out there, it's hard to explain when you wake up in the morning that you got to say to yourself, I got to go play football today. It's just not something you can even explain to a normal person, because now I look back and it sounds crazy, but I guarantee when Levante David woke up this morning, it's hard to explain what his body's going to feel like. And so he has to push himself through another 12 weeks of football, and that's a mentally tough thing to do. But he does it. And when it comes to big plays, you're right. There's times where Levante looks old because he is old. And there's times where his knowledge shines, like yesterday. So I hate to see him compared to Derek Brooks, because Derek Brooks used to have the ball hit him right in his chest. But Levante David is the next up when you talk about all-time Buccaneer linebackers.
When you look at this defensive line, you look at this pass rush, Ian, do the Buccaneers possibly need to look outside, make a deal like they did for JPP? Because I don't know. I just don't know if it's there. I don't know if they're going to be able to get to the passer enough without making some moves. Again, Yaya Diaby, again, not much of a factor. Hassan Reddick's doing all he can. Chris Braswell's been kind of a nothing burger so far. Do you maybe, I mean, we know Jason Light's not one of those people that's desperate to make deals ever, but if a deal's there, do they need to make a JPP kind of like move over the next couple of weeks maybe?
Well, even JPP's move, it was a questionable move because JPP wasn't the same player at that time. He just fit this system perfectly. He was the perfect guy. I heard some names, but I don't know if anybody's dangling great defensive ends out there. I don't know of any names. It's hard to find a pass rusher, dude. It's almost as hard to find a pass rusher as it is to find an offensive tackle. So they're not just sitting around, in their street clothes waiting for somebody to hit them up. So in order to get a legitimate pass rusher who is going to be better than everybody you have on your team, you're going to have to give something up. And maybe the Bucs are in that situation because, with their record and they're going to win this division clearly. But, it has to be the right person. And if you ask me if they're going to win a Super Bowl with this pass rush right now, and the answer is hell no. Because we played really well offensively, but we sucked defensively yesterday. We're not going to keep on winning with that defense.
It's funny how the winning hides a lot of stuff, right?
Like, say our offense doesn't show up yesterday.
Yeah.
We're going, man, we got issues because 5 straight touchdowns. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever won giving up 5 straight touchdowns. I bet in the history of the game, they've never won giving up 5 straight drives, giving up touchdowns. That's unheard of.
Ian, what can you say about kind of the flow of how a football game is, right? Because one thing I liked about that game yesterday was, you know how it is, like obviously winning hides a lot of things, but some games just seem like heavyweight fights, right? Some teams, as much as you would love the Buccaneers defense to play well, it just seemed like whoever had the ball at the end was going to win. And games like that, what do you do in situations like that on offense, or like seeing on your defense, knowing, hey, the tape may be ugly here, but you just gotta kind of hang in, right? And just hope that you're the last team and just try to make plays at the end of the fourth quarter. And I think the Buccaneers were mature enough to not get down, to keep punching. You saw last week with the Eagles, right? The Eagles, that's championship caliber, that's championship mentality, where their offense stunk, their defense was really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
They found a way to make plays. Like, can you talk about that when it comes to the NFL? Because people say, oh, you want them to play a full 60 minutes. I think it's impossible to do that. I think it's impossible to do that. You're trying to play the majority of the 60 minutes to the best of your capability in all three phases, but I think it's really an impossible task to do. But I feel like sometimes it's just about winning a play or winning the drive, and that could be the outcome, deciding the outcome of the game.
The answer should be football's football, regardless of the score of the situation.
Right.
It really is. And I try to instill that in my high school kids or Chamberlain. Okay, if you're down 35-0 or up 35-0, it really shouldn't matter. It's the same tape. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the same tape.
Right.
If you're being evaluated as a person, they're not going to go, well, they were up 35-0, so this doesn't matter. I mean, I guarantee they don't. Or you were down, because if you're down 35-0 and you're tucking your tail, then that's what you are. So to me, this Buccaneer team, you say identity, they're fighters. That's their identity. And a lot of these players that we're talking about, like when you talk about Yaya Diaby, and you can't tell he's out of character. This is his character.
Right.
I mean, this is the way. If Yaya Diaby gets 15 sacks, it'll be a crazy, unbelievable.
Right.
He's not that guy. He's gonna get 6-7 sacks. He's gonna play hard every game. He's gonna be a hustle guy. But he's in character right now because this is what he does.
How are your Indiana boys doing? Feeling good? You feeling good? Look at that.
I'm not one to be swole, but
swole up.
This week ain't no joke to go to Oregon, though.
This is a big week, bro.
Yikes. Yeah, if you could beat Oregon in Oregon, you can beat anybody.
You're a top 5 team.
100%. Well, if they beat Oregon in Oregon, they're top. They deserve to be top 5. And nobody can say nothing if they
might
can
be
get
top
that.
3.
I wouldn't bet my money on that, though. That's a lot. Oregon's a lot.
They're a lot.
A lot.
Dan Lanning's a good coach too. He's
from everywhere. A lot of I'm watching on TV and they're showing slow motion. I can't even know where the damn ball is at the time.
Miami beats Florida State. No surprise there. What other NFL games did you watch yesterday? Anything else stick out to you about the day on the gridiron?
I didn't watch a lot other than the Buccaneers yesterday, but we do picks on the Mike Calter show every Monday. Mm-hmm. So how many games are there? 16 games?
No, there's 32. Oh, yeah, okay.
16 games, yeah. So 14, 15, we picked 16 games, and I got 4 right. So out of 16 games, just picking the winner, I got 4 right. The winner got 6. So that tells you a little bit about what kind of if you'd have told me that New England was going to go into Buffalo, get out of here. They did it. They deserve it.
What does that say? What is that? What's the takeaway from that game?
Buffalo ain't as good as we thought, and New England's on the way out. I mean,
right.
But listen, this is what's so funny about football, Jay. It's funny. I'm telling you. Teams match up different with other teams, okay?
Right.
New England may go on a 4-game losing streak, and Buffalo may go on a 4-game winning streak. That's the way football goes. Right. So you just can't get swole. Listen, we won last week. We won 36-0. We beat a team we're substantially better than. That's the way it goes. Now we got to go to Jefferson. And you won't hear me talking any shit about that game because if Las Vegas took it, we'd probably be 28-point underdogs. We're not supposed to beat Jefferson. It doesn't mean we're not going to beat Jefferson. It just means we're not supposed to beat Jefferson. But football is football. It lays out a certain way. But New England's not supposed to go into Buffalo and beat Buffalo at this time of the year. They're not supposed to.
What is up with these running backs and what's up with these guys that are dropping the ball before the end zone? What is that all about?
It's about what these young kids are about, Jacob, because I'm dealing with 16 and 17-year-old kids. You could tell a kid something, and within a minute, they forgot it, okay? So to me as a running back, and I played running back in the day, and it was always about get over that damn line. That was about, why are you slowing down before you get to the line? Even when I coach, My whole thing is, if we're doing sprints or whatever, you run full speed and 5 yards past the line. Why are you slowing down to let the defender catch up to you? I just don't understand it, okay? The worst thing you could do is let that happen. Tuck the ball, get over the line, do whatever you need to do. Like it's too important to be cool these days. Then it has nothing to do with the team. It's always about the players. I'm seeing with my high school kids, and that's a very selfish move. I don't. There's nothing else than that's a selfish move. And you thought being cool, flipping the ball, was more important than putting the game out of reach. Game was done, over with, and you lost the game. That's your loss.
And you gave the Tennessee Titans their first win of the year. There was
Come on, man. And the coaches are going to lose their job. The coaches were snapped. They're going to lose their job. It's on them.
He snapped on him. You saw the coach
he's
snapped
on that guy. Yeah. That guy might. I don't know. I don't even know the kid. He might get fired.
He's good. He's their starting running back. He's nasty. But that's the thing, is like, it's a learning lesson. But you do more of that, eventually you're going to be on the outside looking in, right?
Correct.
What's going on at the Dignitary Cafe, my brother?
Same old, same old. It's a beautiful Monday. Emma's hanging out at the bar, and Tom Ponzo's holding the back. But, I got a lot of aches and pains, so I got to get my kratom in today. That's for sure.
So I saw a new video from the Dignitary Cafe showing everything. You giving like a appreciation kind of message, and I also saw that you put Bert in the video. I thought you wanted to attract more people there.
Well, we got to attract a bunch of different types of people.
Right.
We don't like to omit nobody, and Bert is his own category, so you got to put him in there.
Well, I guess Bert won the raffle of who's going to get in the video, because that's the only way they're going to get him on there.
There you
go.
We
love you, Bert.
Ian
_Beckles on Instagram. Make sure you check out the Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Check out the In the Trenches podcast wherever you find your podcasts. And, of course, Beckles and Recher every Wednesday over there at the cafe. My brother, I appreciate you. I'll see you on Wednesday, buddy. Thank you.
Peace.
One live. Ian Beckles, the one and only, right there on the program every Monday at 12:30. Let me tell you about my friends over at Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956. They do a little bit of everything for you guys out there. New kitchen remodel, you got a bathroom remodel, you got a new house build, they can help you out. 813-244-0956, thehonesthammer.com. Check them out, thehonesthammer@gmail.com. These guys are the best. They are unbelievable. And Russ and the team, like, these are the kind of people that you want to do work with, right? They're licensed, insured, bonded, general contractor. And you want to make sure that if you're going to make these big old renovations for your house, that you're going to work with people that you trust. You hear all these horror stories about these contractors, and they get half the money and then they bounce and they're gone. Yeah, I mean, that's not the way that Honest Hammer does their business. They're good. They're trustworthy. They're hardworking. These are the kind of people that you want to do business with, and that's why they were our first partner here on the Jay Recher podcast. We got a lot of love for Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. Again, thehonesthammer.com. Give Russ a call, 813-244-0956. Tell him that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. We love him. We love him. We couldn't say enough nice things about Russ and the crew. Also, our second sponsor and our partners at EverHealth, everhealth.org. Go check them out for all your healthcare needs. Listen, there's a lot of things when you're dealing with, your health insurance, and just what can you do to make sure that you're healthy. I'm actually going to be going over to EverHealth here in the next couple of days or so to check on the inflammation in my knee and my right ankle. Our EverHealth injury report every Thursday with Dr. Carlos Rodriguez has been an absolute hit. 50,000 views for our video that we did on the Bucky Irving injury. Insane, man. Incredible. Just so freaking cool. And it's just going to continue to get bigger and better. They work with you from the cradle to the grave. That's what they were telling me over there. And listen, the EverHealth Institute as well. You want to go and you want to have a career and you want to work there, you want to work at other hospitals, they can take care of you. It's like similar to the trade school that I went to, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and get into broadcasting. So EverHealth, can't say enough nice things. In the last 10 years, they've grown so much. The next 10 are going to be crazy. And they take all kinds of insurance too. They also help out the uninsured. There's a sliding scale where your copay really is not a lot, man. It's really cool. And some of the stigmas when you're dealing with something like this, where they take all kinds of insurance, or they, take people that don't have insurance, is like that free clinic negative kind of connotation, but everything's clean in there. Everything is top notch. The pharmacy is right there, so you don't even have to leave to go get your prescription. Go check them out, everhealth.org. Trust me, man, I'm going over there. Dentistry, your family, for your kids, like a little bit of everything. everhealth.org. Go check them out. Give them a call. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. You want to be healthy, man. You want your family to be healthy as well, too. So EverHealth really is the way to go. Guys, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere. Check me out. First media conference tomorrow for the new owners for the Rays, Patrick Zalewski and the crew. I'm actually going to be off tomorrow. I got doctor appointment in the morning, dentist stuff going on. I got some stuff I got to take care of. Excuse me, a big yawn there because it's been a long weekend, man. I was coaching all weekend too. And then this week is going to be nuts. Shout out to my friend James Dolan. Went to his late night live comedy show at the Commodore on Friday night. That was a lot of fun. And then games Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to get crazy. So tomorrow I got to take off because I got to take care of some things. And it's going to get ratcheted up because you know how busy my Wednesdays are with my podcast, Ian's podcast. Then I got a full practice day on Wednesday. And then Thursday, opening day for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I will be there at Emily all day long. And then Friday, obviously, another good day here on the podcast, talking about the Lightning season opener, previewing the weekend's game. Saturday, it's just going to be a crazy weekend. We got a tournament this weekend, too. Saturday is going to be our first Sticks and Stools broadcast before the game on Saturday at Benchmark International Arena. Did I say Emily? The Bench. So there's a lot that are going on. So, got to take tomorrow off to take care of what I got to take care of. Again, follow me at JRetro on all social media platforms. And a big thank you to all of our super chats, like $2 for Greg DeCruz. Go Blue Jays. Come on, Jay. Let me hear you. No, sir. But, hey, shout out to Toronto. Can't take anything away from those guys. Incredible. Swinging the sticks. And if the Yankees don't turn it around at home, they are in trouble. But keep things in perspective when it comes to MLB playoffs because it's a long series. And the series really doesn't start until somebody wins on the road, and we'll see that in the next couple of days. We'll also talk some MLB playoffs in a bit. Let's talk about the other games in the National Football League. The Giants, I thought they had that game against the New Orleans Saints, but turnover after turnover after turnover. Jackson Dart looking like a rookie yesterday. The Saints get on the board with their first win, so they 26-14. It was just a weird game. Two bad football teams. The football is so bad. The bad teams are really bad. The bad teams are just really bad. Minnesota was able to win. Carson Wentz over Cleveland. Again, nothing to really write home about that one. Not anything. I watched that team and I'm blown away. What has happened with the Baltimore Ravens? Down 24-3 at the half. You want to talk about a team that has just completely lost the plot. That's the Baltimore Ravens. And are they going to make a change at DC? Get Coach Orr out of there as far as Harbaugh saying no? You're talking about a Houston Texans team that was 1-3 coming into your building. I know Lamar's not playing, right? Cooper Rush is in there. He's had some success in the past when he was backing up in Dallas. You still have Derrick Henry. You still have DeAndre Hopkins and Zay Flowers. You still have Mark Andrews. You still have all these good players on defense too. And I don't know what has happened, but it seems like the shine is worn off of Baltimore. Everybody was telling them how great they were, and this is the year they're finally going to get over the hump, and then they just kind of started believing their own hype, it looks like. They start believing their own hype, and now they're 1-4. It's a weird thing going on in the AFC North when you look at some of these other teams, and for all the smack that everybody wanted to talk about Pittsburgh, they look like they could be the best team in the division. So what the hell? What the hell? The one game I told you guys to watch, and I told you that the slate was going to be kind of wonky. Look at this game. Broncos 21, Eagles 17. And if you listen to what I had to say on the show on Friday, I said that there was a really good possibility that the Denver Broncos would win this game. They scored 18 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win this game 21-17. 17-3 in the fourth quarter, and the Eagles lose. The Eagles are so weird. They have so many good players. So many good players, but they have these like lulls where you look at them and you're like, what is up with you guys? And I don't know did they win because of Nick Sirianni, in spite of Nick Sirianni? I don't know, because when it's bad, it's really bad. When it's good, nobody can beat them. Denver, man, they just balled out. They kept rolling. They kept going. They stuck with it. And you got to give Bo Nix a lot of credit. Hanging in there. J.K. Dobbins running the football. Cortland Sutton, who's really built a nice rapport with Bo Nix as well. 21-17. Broncos win. And another battle of just two poor teams. The Jets lose at home 37-22 to Dallas. Again, you're watching this game. You're like, what's going on here? Justin Fields doesn't look terrible. Breece Hall ran the ball for 113 yards. Garrett Wilson. But the Jets, you're 0-5. You're the only team in history to not have a takeaway, I think, in your first 5 games. You have Aaron Glenn. You have Steve Wilkes as your defensive coordinator. I don't see. Sometimes you don't need to see very much. Greatness shows itself early. So does awful play. Just bad. There's way more bad football teams this year than good. And I kept saying to myself when I'm watching this, I'm like, I know NFL is king, but I don't know if the football really is that great right now. It's just not. I mean, look at these two teams too. I mean, you look at Indianapolis, and the reason they're 4-1, right, is I think fantastic coaching with Shane Steichen. They didn't score any points in the first and fourth, but they scored 20 in the second and third to win 40-6. It's such an unusual kind of score line there. Vegas, 3 in the first, 3 in the fourth. The Colts, 20 in the second, 20 in the third. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns on the ground. You love what Daniel Jones has looked like with Shane Steichen. And, you had Tyler Warren in the draft. You have Michael Pittman Jr. And, all these people that were saying that Las Vegas was the sexy pick to win and to do great things. Geno kind of looks like Geno again. Geno, I don't know. Not sold. I like what Ashton Genty looks like. Obviously, dealing with not having Brock Bowers is a big thing. But defensively, I mean, Devin White is your guy. Jeremy Chin, a bunch of retreads. We were looking at this AFC West like they were going to be really good. And I think the Raiders were a team that a lot of people thought were going to take a step forward. But after just watching them, it's like, no thanks. No thanks. Just a rough schedule to watch this weekend. Miami looked like they were in control of this game, didn't they? Thought they were going to win this one, and nope, they didn't. They dropped to 1-4. And as I'm watching some of this game, I'm like, you know what? They're fighting for Mike McDaniel. They're fighting for this guy. They should be able to beat Carolina. Miami was a team just a couple of years ago, playoff team. Some good players. It looked like they were really doing a good job incorporating Darren Waller into the scheme now. He's caught all 5 targets yesterday. I was watching the touchdown pass. Obviously Tyreek's out, but you still have Jalen Waddle. What's up, Devon Achane? 10 carries for 16 yards. And Rico Dowdle, holy smokes, 23 carries for 206 in that tutty. Ted McMillan doing his job. And Bryce Young, early on in the day, everybody's like, oh, he's not the guy. Well, he stayed with it and led Carolina to a victory. Who would have thought that Carolina would be 2-3 and the Dolphins would be 1-4 after this game? Not many people. The ugliest game, Arizona and the Titans. Again, Arizona's winning this game, 21-6? And then they give up 16 in the fourth. You see Amari DeMarcado with an incredible 71-yard run, and he fumbles right before the end zone. They pick off a ball, interception, and then they go and then they fumble the ball. It's just like, man, there are so many bad plays and bad teams to go around. And I guess shout out Tennessee for getting their first win for Cam Ward. But, I mean, is it that they won or Arizona lost? It's just, rough. Washington 27-10 over the Chargers. 10-0 Chargers after one. I'm like, all right, cool. I think we know all about this game. But everybody's just, blowing the Chargers and saying that, oh, Jim Harbaugh and all these guys. And I'm not impressed by them either. I'm not impressed by them at all. Detroit beat Cincinnati 27-24. And then we talked about the Sunday night game with the Patriots and the Bills. This probably is the worst that I've seen the NFL in my time covering football and just being an adult. Is it good anywhere? I mean, that's part of the reason maybe it sticks out when you're talking about the Bucks, but looking at the standings right now in the NFL, here, I'll bring up so you guys can look at the standings with me here. Oh, crap. Did I really just do it? Cancel. Here we go. All right. So looking at the NFL standings here. Let me take this part off. All right. Looking at the standings. AFC East. We were thought Buffalo was running away with it. And then that performance last night, you just shake it. Like, what are y'all doing? The Patriots on the rise. The Dolphins and the Jets stink. Look at how many 1 or 0 win teams. Well, Jets are the only win this team. But look how many 1-win teams we have through 5 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams with 1 loss. Ugh. The football's just bad. Bad. I can't wait for hockey season, man. Wake me up. Steelers 3-1. They're just like the best of the bad situations. And the Bengals, you got to look at the situation of Burrow's out. Browning's Browning. I still think those guys should maybe get a stopgap. Go get a Jameis or go get a Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins or something. But maybe now looking at the Ravens and the Browns and how bad they are, maybe they don't have to. Just hold the fort down, tread water until you get him back. Maybe you'll be okay come playoff time. In the South, I mean, the Jags are 3-1. They host the Niners tonight. The Colts are 4-1. Texans are 2-3 after starting 0-3. We know how bad the Titans are, but I mean, we could be looking at an AFC South sweep this weekend if the Jags win. I don't know if that happened at all last year. I can't. Wow, that's a great question. When is the last time that the AFC South, every team won on the same day? When is the last time? It's probably a while ago. Probably a while ago. No doubt. AFC West, I just mentioned. Chargers, not sold. Broncos, love the defense. Chiefs, they're the Chiefs. Can't count them out. Raiders, basura, trash. Eagles, they are what they are. Commanders, I mean, I like the fight yesterday, being able to go on the road. First game back for Jaden Daniels. I like what they're made of. I don't trust the Cowboys. Giants, don't get me started. It's a game they should have won. Lions, they're solid. Packers, again, where are they? They're kind of iffy. The Vikings, maybe they'll be a factor when J.J. McCarthy comes back. We'll see with the Bears. NFC North is still, one of the strong ones. Falcons, who knows? Who really knows with Atlanta? Again, the inconsistency. Excuse me. The Falcons' inconsistency, the Panthers as well, the Saints. And I like the NFC West for the most part. I like Seattle, even though they lost that game yesterday to the Bucs. I really do. I like they're well coached defensively. They had their warts. They were missing a bunch of players too. That's going to happen. Offensively, when they stick to the run game and they really accentuate the strengths of Sam Darnold, I think they're in good shape. The Niners, way better than I thought. And then the Rams, well-coached team. I know they took the loss on Thursday night, but I trust all 3 of those teams a whole heck of a lot more than I trust the Arizona Cardinals. No way, buddy. All right, so Jay Gatto with the $2 super chat. Fins are trash. As a fan of them for 20 plus years, I know. Appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, dude, that is rough. Rough. And I said this before too. When the Dolphins are one of those teams too, I think they're an exciting brand of football. And they're exciting brand for football, excuse me. And when they're good, I feel like there's an excitement in South Florida that kind of lifts it up and just it really lights this part of the country on fire. And man, they were close. And then they had that playoff game against Kansas City when it was cold and it just Tua looked so miserable. Everything was built around him. And it's hard to think that that team hasn't peaked, like this iteration of it. Is Tyreek Hill done? I don't know, but you have to wait. Defensively, I mean, all the pieces that they've lost over the years, and you think about just a couple of years ago how good that defense was, and they were growing, and you had Javon Holland, you had Christian Wilkins, and of course you added Brad Chubb and Jalen Phillips, and you're looking at all these good players like, damn, this team is on the rise. And now you look at them and you look at them with pity, not praise. It can go downhill fast, and that's again going back to what we started the show with when we're talking about the Buccaneers, like, be grateful for this shit, man. Because there's a lot of other teams that are out there, and they're kind of looking at your team going, I wish I was them. I wish I was them. Follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe as well on YouTube. Plenty to get into for the rest of the week. Again, off tomorrow, back on Wednesday. Sergio Beltrés. What's up, Jake? ¿Cómo está? Bien, gracias. Y tú? Great win by the Cardiac Bucks. Mayfield for MVP. But our special team called Recher. No a Recher. They suck. They no good. They no good. It's my old neighbor back in the day. Javierito. Javier Rivera, my guy. He used to turn to me, Jay, no good. We no good. And I said, we're good. We're okay. No good. Javi got so mad when he struck out one time. He went in the dugout and then went outside the other dugout and just started beating the crap out of a metal garbage can. He was like, just, Javi, calm down. I good. I'm like, bro, this dude is on another level, bro. I love it. Just when you grow up around as many crazy Puerto Rican and Dominicans as I did, man, it's just the accent stays with you forever. I love him. Jeff Taylor, I'm digging the shirt. Jay Go Bucks, still no, screw Miami. Right here, I got my UT baseball shirt. 9-time champs, man. These are going out of style now because they are 10-time champs. I heard the Mark Sanchez story. Did you guys hear this story about Mark Sanchez? Whoa. It just gets wilder and wilder the more we see. And he got stabbed, and then it turned out it wasn't just him, and now he's facing a felony battery charge. This is what we know so far. Hold on, let me make sure I got the updated. All right, this is from 4 minutes ago from The Athletic. Hold on, I subscribe to The Athletic, man. Don't be messing with me. I subscribe to Athletic just like I subscribe to the Tampa Bay Times and Lighting Insider. Support our local guys, right? Of course. Okay, so prosecutors in Marion County in Indiana, added a level 5 felony battery charge against former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez on Monday for his alleged attack on a 69-year-old truck driver in Indianapolis on Saturday. The additional charge, the second lowest felony level in Indiana's criminal code, carries a sentencing guideline of 1 to 6 years in prison and could also carry up a fine of $10,000. Sanchez, an NFL analyst for Fox Sports, originally faced charges of battery resulting in injury, public intoxication, and unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, all misdemeanors. The Marion County prosecutor Ryan Mears said during the Monday news conference that the additional felony charge was due to the alleged assault involving serious bodily injury. Mears also said the truck driver's age qualifies as an aggravating factor, which could lead to additional penalties. Police arrested Sanchez on Saturday while he was in the hospital being treated for wounds suffered during the incident. Sanchez was stabbed multiple times in his upper right torso, while the other man had a large laceration to his left cheek that required hospitalization. Sanchez allegedly confronted the man for parking his truck in an alley between two hotels, claiming he could not be there. Prosecutors said extensive video footage shows Sanchez attempting to enter the vehicle multiple times as the situation escalated. At one point, Sanchez allegedly slammed the driver to the ground. The truck driver told police he used pepper spray on Sanchez, who he said smelled of alcohol and had slurred speech before using a knife to defend himself. Sanchez then fled the scene. Mears noted that this truck driver's statement that he stabbed Sanchez in self-defense will be central to the trial. What the hell happened here? I mean, shit comes at you fast, man. I mean, my God, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Unbelievable. You're right, Greg. Who Sanchez wanted something people talk about other than the butt fumble. Yikes. That is crazy. Oh, man. That's nuts. Mark Sanchez. What a career. All right. Let's talk now about some college football. USF wins, moves into the top 25. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but that was not a great performance. And listen, Cartavius Norton, that was really scary. It looks like everything's, he's going to be okay. We saw a nice message from the team that he's back home and he should be okay. Very scary sight there. But the Bulls win. And when you watch this team, You cannot come away from that game being, I think, 100% comfortable with what you saw. Sloppy play. Too sloppy. It's something you have to clean up, and it's something that we actually had this conversation with Ian Beckles of, all right, if you can play sloppily and you kind of learn and you can build your identity as you're winning instead of like losing and then having to figure it out, that's a good thing. But 54-26 over Charlotte, you put up a 50 burger out of nothing. And if you watched the show on Friday, I said I wanted 14 by the first quarter, 28 by the half, and then over 50 points. That's what we got. But just too sloppy. Too sloppy from the Bulls. Byron Brown, 15 incompletions, and a lot of those were drops. They got to be better. There has to be more of an attention to detail. 2 interceptions from Byron, and just when you're watching this game, over 631 yards of total offense, which is a positive sign. But if they want to continue down this path of trying to be one of the elites of the American, you're going to have to play a whole hell of a lot better. And it starts this Saturday night against North Texas. Actually, this Friday night at North Texas. North Texas is 5-0. This is one of those games, and we talk about this a lot, right? When you're a team, and this isn't, I don't think you can really use this for the Buccaneers against Seattle because that was a fair, I think an even matchup, kind of a coin flip. But there are certain games. We just had it with Florida State going into Virginia. Where on paper, you're at least like a 3-point favorite. But you're right for the picking. You're right for the picking right now, USF. You're number 24 in the country. And North Texas is going to be licking their chops. They're going to be looking at some of the things you weren't able to do against Charlotte. You better go out there and play a clean football game. If you do, then you come home to FAU before you go on the road to the biggest, probably going to be your biggest test all season long when you go to Memphis. But you need to go into that Memphis game 6-1. And the only way you're going to do that is by going to North Texas to Denton and to be able to win this game. They're 5-0 for a reason. You're not 5-0 at this. I don't care what your competition is. You're not 5-0 at this point of the season by accident. USF better clean it up or it's going to be a long weekend. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed if they lose this game. Pissed. All those good vibes in the first couple of games of the season will wear off. You win this game, everybody's like, okay, you probably move up a couple more, maybe 22nd, 20. You want to get to the point where that you're 6-1, you go into Memphis, you win that game. Think about it like this, guys. You win the next 2 games, you're 6-1, you go into Memphis, you win that game, you're 7-1, you're probably a top 15 team in the country. Think about that. Your Bulls, top 15, you win the next 3 games. Take care of business. No messing around. One of the most important games we've seen so far under the tenure of Alex Golish. They got to take care of business. You know who did not take care of business? Texas. Told you on Friday, what are the Gators all about? As much as we look at that murderers row of the schedule in the SEC, they're about to lose a bunch of these games. There's talent there, man. It's the state of Florida. It's the state of Florida, bro. Shit happens. It don't stop, man. It does not stop. And we saw that with the win. Arch Manning does not look ready for prime time. He doesn't. And shout out to Florida. I know there's a lot of fans out there wondering who was going to rise to the occasion. That's what DJ Lagway and the Gators did. And I know there's kind of like a back and forth of, great, this means Billy Napier is still here. I thought if he lost the next 2 games that they would probably move on from him. But with Dallas Wilson doing what he can do, 6 catches for $111, 2 touchdowns, and DJ Lagway, that, with Jaden Ball at the running back position. Listen, with those 3 guys, that's the thing about these Gators. And are they as good as Florida State? Maybe, probably not. They're not as good as Miami. They're not as good as USF, right? But those 3 guys, if Lagway, Ball, and Wilson are working together, they're going to be able to score against anybody. So if they can do that, then, right? I mean, the Gators have a punching chance in all of these games, which is going to piss off a lot of Gators fans because it might give them some false hope, and at the very least, it's going to keep Billy Napier in his job. Miami and Florida State. And let me tell you this. Looking at their 2 resumes, there's no reason no reason whatsoever that if you're looking at the resumes of these two teams, can somebody please explain to me how Miami is not the number one team in the country right now? If you're going to tell me that competition matters, right? You just beat a Texas team 14-7 that just lost to Florida, who was 1-3. Those games have to count. Okay, fine, they won. Grambling, Ohio, Washington, Minnesota. Miami, on the other hand, Notre Dame, who's now won the last two. USF, who's ranked 24th in the country. Florida, who just beat Texas, who you guys beat. And Florida State, 28-22. I mean, the resumes, it's not even close. I don't understand. And when you look at how this team is built and you look at the quarterback, and you can't look at every time somebody says something about Miami, and this is the great thing about not being like a Miami fan or a Florida fan or a Florida State fan. Go ask one of your friends that is not a Miami fan, and they'll tell you the reason why they don't like Miami is what? Does anybody know the answer to this question? Why don't people like Miami? The reason why people don't like Miami is because they don't think Carson Beck is that good. That's all they can say. Oh, yeah, well, I just don't think Carson Beck is that good. Just don't think he's that good. Oh, okay. So you don't think that the guy who has thrown for 1,200 yards, who has thrown for 11 touchdowns, 73.4 completion percentage, you don't think that guy's good? Do I think Carson Beck is the greatest quarterback in the world? No. But I'm going to tell you what he's not. He's not good. He's a good quarterback. Is he great? Nah, we'll see. But if you don't think he's that good, I tend to disagree. I think he's a pretty good player. You're not a quarterback at Georgia and then a quarterback at Miami if you're not good. And all the guys around him, blah, blah, blah. Like, somebody's throwing the ball to Malachi Tony. Somebody's throwing the ball to C.J. Daniels, right? Oh, the offensive line, the defensive line. Come on, man. Once you start going down the list, then it's just like turn the mirror around, right? It's on you. It's on you. You say the same thing about Julian Sain, the same thing. He's got great players around him too. Great lines as well. I'm not trying to hear that shit. Alabama, kudos to you. 30-14 win over Vanderbilt. Moving into the top 10 now. That loss to Florida State looking like a long time ago there. Iowa State and Cincinnati. That was another one of those games, right? But we mentioned on Friday, Cincinnati was actually 2.5-point favorite going into that game, and they showed why. 38-30 when Iowa State stays in the top 25. Notre Dame beating Boise 28-7, kind of pulling for a Boise State win in that one. I think that would obviously look better for USF. And then let's see how Central did. Oh, look at that. UCF at home losing to Kansas. Who played for Kansas? Paul Pierce and Rafe LaFrance? No? Sucks to be you. Oh, at least we're in the Big 12. Oh, great, you're in the Big 12. You're still losing a crap ton of games. Don't be petty, right? Don't be Bryce Petty, everybody. Anthony Labus talking about Mark Sanchez. Does his time with the Jets count towards his sentence? No, does not. Chris Hall will be there. He'll be in Denton Friday night for the game. Go Bulls. Nice. Chris Hall, Robert Cochran, call me on Friday or call me Monday. Let me know. Mario saying North Texas 5-0. USF Radio mentioned that North Texas is giving their students all off Friday. Get jacked up for the game. It's funny because Jim Blauk actually told me that before the broadcast. That's really, really cool. Tommy, I love you, Tom. Remember, the AP poll doesn't matter. It's just something fun to do that people can talk about. It'll work itself out anyway down the road. Tom, quote of the day, buddy. Quote of the day. A Boise State win against Notre Dame would have hurt USF, in my opinion. They jump back up as the G5 favorite, and we just become a quality loss. The only reason why I disagree with you is because the USF beat the Gators. If it was just a standalone win between the two, I would understand that. But I think judging by what we've seen from the voting, and now that USF winning that game on national TV, that matters too, right? As much as we may not think it should matter, it does. Just the fact, like people that just casually tune into these games and these AP voters that they'll have ESPN on, they'll have ESPN2 on, right? Like that helps. So I think the win over Florida certainly helps in that aspect of it. But I see where you're coming from, Chris. Great point. I like where your head's at there. When we were having this conversation last week, when John Mamola wanted to jump in and just tell me I was wrong, that's what story of my life, right? We were talking about why the lack of success when it comes to anything on Fox Sports 1, but including the Barstool stuff. There's just an easy type of there's an easier ability to find ESPN on your TV and knowing that ESPN2 is the next channel, right? For years, it was like 26 and 27 or 27 and 28 or 35 and 36, just from where I was born and, where I grew up. So once you find ESPN2 really isn't too hard to find. So if you're looking for football, like it's all about ease of access to me. So when you're USF and you're playing these games on ESPN, you're playing these games on ESPN2, it's a lot easier to find out kind of where they're at, right? You look at all these things and you go, okay, well, USF's on, let's go watch them out. And then you see Byron Brown putting down all these points. And even though it might be ugly at the end of the game, people tune out by then. But if they're watching 20 minutes in the second quarter, and during that time, it's Isaac and Norton and Nimrod and Brown and all these guys doing their things, the voters will be like, yeah, saw that. They go back, they check the score. Oh, they put up a 50 burger. Boom, I'm going to bump them up. Sometimes it's that easy. You can't expect all of these AP voters, and I know we've learned, but we can't expect all of these voters to watch every single minute of every single game. It's not going to happen. But man, shout out to the Bulls for doing everything that they can to be able to put themselves in a position to win. I love it. Love it. And watching these games on ESPN, even better. Because wherever you're at, you can watch them on ESPN or ESPN2. All right. Did you see whatever the hell happened over the weekend? You did? Oh, yeah, I did too. Let me take a sip real quick on my coffee. It's almost done. I said it on Friday, and I'll say it again today. There is no better rivalry right now in all of sports than the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. I don't want to hear about Michigan, Ohio State. I don't want to hear about the Packers and the Bears. I sure as hell don't want to hear about the Yankees and the Red Sox. Okay, they just finished the playoff series, and they were shaking hands and hugging each other. Rivalry, my ass. We're not talking about historical reference here. I don't want to hear how many times the teams played or how many years that they've been facing off and all these different things. We're not talking about historical right now. We're talking about right now. There is no hotter rivalry in all of sports than the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. These two teams don't just dislike each other. These two teams hate each other. 186 minutes. 186 penalty minutes in the game last week at Benchmark International Arena. The other night, 312 penalty minutes in a game that was 7-0. Nobody even really cared about the puck going into the back of the net. Nobody cared what the final score was. When you see Scott Sabrin, and you knew something was up. You knew something was up when the Lightning called those players up from Syracuse. One of them being Scott Sabrin, a longtime enforcer in pro hockey. And just 2 minutes and 18 seconds into the game, went in on Aaron Ekblad, leveled him behind the net, and just started laying it on him with multiple punches. And late hits, cross checks, guys getting thrown out of the game. It's just there's nothing hotter in sports right now. And I don't want to hear anybody that supports the Panthers. I don't want to hear anybody that's covering the Panthers. I thought it was kind of unique that you heard on the Florida Panthers broadcast and you heard some of the people that cover the Panthers getting a little snarky on social media. I don't want to hear anything about the Panthers and their dirty play after what happened. Yeah, I mean, it's called payback. Revenge is a dish best served cold. And it happened on the ice at Amerant Bank Arena over the weekend. Somebody finally stood up to the Florida Panthers. You can't be surprised. You brought this upon yourselves. This is not just something that has happened between the Panthers and the Lightning. We've seen dirty play from Florida before, knocking players out of series. The Tampa Bay Lightning said enough is enough, and they took matters into their own hands. And I know the league is worried, and they're having conversations with people, they're having conversations with members of both organizations. Okay. This is on you, though. The reason why it has gotten to this point is because of the league and the Department of Player Safety. You didn't nip this in the bud early on. You didn't think it was that big of a deal. You just thought it was hockey and it was going to police itself. And then when you still see people like AJ Greer punching Brandon Hagel in the face, who was knocked out of the series last year because he was concussed after a dirty hit from Aaron Ekblad, the Lightning were just not going to stand idly by and wait for you to do little or nothing. Here's a $2,000 fine slap on the wrist. Sorry. If you want to take pride in your sport where it polices itself and the guys will take matters into their own hands, when it goes over the line and when it spills over, this is what you're going to get. So once again, you can take all of your other historical references. You can take all of your other great rivalries. If you're a college or a pro fan, you can talk about soccer and football and baseball and basketball and all these different things and tell me, oh, this rivalry is the best. This rivalry is the best. Fine, you can have it. But right now, these two teams in the state of Florida, the two best hockey teams in the last 5 years, there's been the two best teams in the 2020s, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. That is the best rivalry in sports. There's no argument. There's no argument. They're not playing each other once a season like college football. They're not going out there and then like, oh, nothing will happen and then they'll shake hands and everything will be okay and it's much ado about nothing. This means everything. You're talking about two teams that were able to accrue over 400 penalty minutes. How many was it again? I gotta find the totals again. Shit. Come on. 312 and 186. You're talking about two teams that accrued almost 500 penalty minutes in two preseason games. If that's not the best rivalry in sports right now, I don't know what is. Come on. Come on now. I cannot wait to see these guys again. It's fun. It's fun, man. Hammer said, Beck's not that good. His offensive line is making him look amazing. Got to eat more. Yeah, bro. I mean, that's part of the gig. I mean, Baker's got time to throw. It all works in context, Glad they stood up and got their get back. Hopefully we can play hockey. November 15th is going to be wild. You got that right, buddy. Hockey just doesn't move the needle too much for a rivalry to matter. Yeah, I don't agree. It's not about that, man. It's not about that. We're not talking about where it stands in the lexicon of the four major sports. We're talking about heated rivalries. When those two teams are on the ice, they had 498 penalty minutes in two preseason games. Bro, that's crazy, dude. Crazy. If Greer doesn't cheap shot Hagel on Thursday, none of that matters. You got that right, buddy. No doubt about it. All right. Follow me on all social media platforms. I'm not going anywhere yet. We still got one more segment to go here on the program. Dolan, the Lightning need to be ready to punch the F out of the Panthers constantly. Enough of the dirty play, eye for an eye at this point. I don't curse when other people type it, but for me, I'll do it on my own. But Dolan, we love you, buddy. Dolan right now watching the show. I'm not going to make a Taylor Swift reference, Dolan. I know you were waiting. Man, you guys are the greatest. Yeah, good stuff all the way around. Can't wait for Lightning. Again, if you missed it on Friday, Sticks and Stools, a pregame show next Saturday outside the plaza there at Benchmark International Arena with Danielle McBroom and John Senning and myself. I'll be on the bone probably on Friday. I got to talk to them. That'll be the first time I'll be in a different radio station other than iHeart in like 20, no, not 20 years, like 10 years when I was in New York. That'd be crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, let's get to the rest of the weekend at so many things that were going on, right? And Connor McDavid did sign an extension, 2 years, $12.5 million. He's given them a couple more cracks at it. That's what he's doing. Giving them a couple more cracks at it. The fact that Connor isn't signing a long-term deal tells you everything you need to know. Everything. Just take it easy. Take it easy. This guy's just straight taking up. It's so funny when people take other people's content and put them out there. Oh, man. All right. So let's go with... You want to talk about engagement farming? That's when you go take somebody else's stuff and you promote it as your own. Make your own content. MLB playoffs, man, the Yankees are in trouble. They better turn it around. They have a much-needed day off for them. But, man, they do not look sharp at all. They lost both of the games, including a 13-7 beatdown there in Toronto against the Blue Jays yesterday. And this kid just comes out there, Yesevich, and 78 pitches, 48 strikes. No hits through 5 1/3, 11 strikeouts. Max Free got tore up, and that's something I heard very early on in the postseason about how Max is usually feast or famine come playoff time. It's not good for him. Definitely not good for him. He's got to figure it out. With Garrett Cole, he's the ace. He's got to take care of business. It all started on Saturday. The Yankees got blown out 10-1. The Brewers with a solid 9-3 victory. Freddie Peralta getting the win in that one, 13 hits over the Cubs. The Dodgers, man. Even though Shohei Ohtani got the win, he gave up 3 runs. He was 0 for 4. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez just continues to be that guy. Just continues to be the guy that just flying under the radar. And you can talk about all these different dudes out there. But Teoscar Hernandez just gets up there and hits. Fastballs, off speed, incredible. Tigers win 3-2. Seattle got their get back last night to even up that series 1-1, a pair of 3-2 games. Dodgers look to take a 2-0 commanding series lead on the road tonight. 6:08 start there. Battle of lefties. Blake Snell on the bump for the Dodgers. The Phils counter with Jesus Luzardo. And then 9:08 tonight. Cubbies and Brewers from Milwaukee. The NL Central matchup with Milwaukee up 1-0. Shota Imanaga gets the start against Ashby from the Brewers. So some baseball there. Of course, we have Monday Night Football on as well with the Jaguars hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. That should be a fun matchup there. No? It's kind of wild to think that's the game tonight. Is that not on the top here? Oh, yeah. WNBA. Oh, come on. WNBA Finals, 2-0 series lead for the Aces. We're all to talk about how great Caitlin Clark is. And listen, I get it. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the WNBA. Let's not get that twisted. Caitlin Clark is the most popular. And I know, listen, Clea Copper's out there. I know there's a lot of great players. But when it comes to balling out, and there's great players when you talk about Setu Sabali in this game, Alyssa Thomas in this game, on the Mercury side. And for many years, you're looking at the Mercury and you get thinking, and Kit Loxton too from the Bulls. She only played 4 minutes in that game 2 loss to the Aces. And for many years, the Phoenix Mercury were centraled around Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner. It's a new age for them. But they're going up against an absolute juggernaut. And A'ja Wilson, 28 and 14, 3 assists in the steal as well. And Chelsea Gray, who just comes up with these big shots. And then, oh, yeah, hey, here's Jewel Lloyd, who shipped in 9. And then Jackie Young. Jackie Young's waving her hand like, I had 32. Unstoppable. And you have the best coach in the game in Becky Hammond. So 2-0 lead. I don't think this series is going to go on for very much longer at all. On the soccer side, because I want to finish off with UFC 320. On the soccer side, Barcelona absolutely smacked by Sevilla 4-1. There was a couple of games I told you to watch out for. That was one of them. Man U wins 2-0. So does Arsenal. Chelsea with a big 2-1 win over Liverpool. I don't know what's going on with Liverpool, but after the international break, they host Manchester United. I really have no idea what's going to happen in that matchup. Real Madrid with a big 3-1 win over Villarreal. Borussia Dortmund and RB Leipzig with a 1-1 tie there. Bayern Munich with a 3-0 win over Eintracht Frankfurt. Inter 4-1 over Cremonese. Lazio and Torino 3-3. That was another one. My match that I wanted to keep an eye on, though, was, and I think it's probably one of the more popular teams right now in European soccer, European football, and that's Napoli. They were down 1-0 to Genoa. They come back and win 2-1. A really underwhelming performance between Juventus and AC Milan and a 0-0 draw there. But Napoli with Kevin De Bruyne, Scott McTominay, Rasmus Højlund, bunch of guys you may know from the Premier League. That is one of the most fun teams to watch right now. They win 2-1 over Genoa. Keep an eye out for them. Lille with a 1-1 draw with Paris Saint-Germain. They love that. Anytime we can get points from a matchup with them is a good thing. Man City with a 1-0 win after an early goal by Erling Haaland at the G-Tech against Brentford and Nottingham Forest. They lose 2-0 to Newcastle there at St. James's Park, and people are already calling for the head of Ange Postecoglou. Ange coming in after a successful win in the FA Cup with Tottenham last year, gets fired. They bring him in to take over for Nuno Espirito Santo. And they're already calling for his head. He said there was fans chanting, "You're going to get fired in the morning." Imagine that. You're just there for a couple weeks and people are always saying you're going to get fired in the morning. All right. Lastly here on the program, UFC 320. You guys watch that? What an event. Just looking at some of the undercard fights and watching the ones that really stood out to me. Eben Shabazian with that win there, moving to 16-5 over Andre Muniz. I mean, a really terrible decision. I thought that Patchy Mix won that fight against Jakob Wiklach. I guess I was wrong there. Jusang Yu against Daniel Santos. That was a firefight. Yu was, getting a little cocky there. Getting a little cocky. And Daniel Santos turned his lights out 21 seconds into round 2. One of the biggest stars, I think, the entire night was Atiba Gauthier. He's 9-1 in the middleweight division. I mean, he fought this kid, Tristan Vines, who was running from the start, a jiu-jitsu ace. Atiba Gauthier from Cameroon. Watch out for him. Coming from the same country from Francis Ngannou, I believe, is from Cameroon as well. Atiba Gauthier. That is a bad dude. Keep an eye out for him. Youssef Zalal. This was a guy from Morocco that people thought was really going to be a rising star in the sport. He lost to the future champ, Ilia Topuria. He beat Josh Emmett, just a tough veteran, by armbar. You don't see many armbar submissions now. That's how, you can see that type of thing. A big comeback victory for Yuri Prochazka in his light heavyweight tilt against Khalil Roundtree. Khalil looked like he was owning it. He was very composed. And here comes Yuri just turning it on. He really is. He considers himself a samurai. And when you see him win matches like that where he's losing and he comes back and wins, I miss the long ponytail. He needs to bring it back. But I love that dude. Just love his disposition overall. And then the 2 title fights. I am a huge Merab Dvalishvili fan. This kid, he just has so much fun with life. He had 20 takedowns. 20. First fighter ever, I think, to have 100 takedowns, if I'm not mistaken. 20 of 37. He is a guy that somehow, some way makes wrestling look cool. He takes you down so many different ways. Corey Sandhagen was a really game fighter, but Merab just did his thing. I know some people are booing, but not every fight is going to be 2 guys standing in the middle of the ring just throwing bombs. But I just love Merab. And he's one of the best bantamweights, if not the best bantamweight of all time. He just keeps beating people. And people will say, oh, Song Yadong or oh, Piotr Yan. Like, I'm not impressed by either one of those guys at all. He was a favorite. The big money on the night was Alex Pereira. He was an underdog, plus 210. He needed 80 seconds to beat Magomed Ankalaev, and you saw it right from the beginning. He was on the front foot. He was attacking. They said he wasn't healthy the first time that these two guys fought. He didn't look like himself. He didn't look like himself at all. And sometimes it's just an excuse, and sometimes it actually means what it means. Like, he just doesn't, he's not 100%. And you saw it. And when he was 100%, like you saw last night or Saturday night, watch out. Alex Pereira, one of the most well-decorated fighters in the history of combat sports, whether it's kickboxing or whether it's here in MMA. What's his next fight? Is it Carlos Ulberg? Is it Yuri again? I want to see him go up in weight. I want to see him fight Tom Aspinall after Aspinall beats Cyril Gane. I feel like John Jones had 2 more fights to finish his career. I wanted to see him fight Tom Aspinall. I wanted to see him fight Alex Pereira, and then like all 3 of those guys can move on and we'll look for the next. But man, it's just, I feel like we missed out on something. I feel like I'm not like Tom Aspinall is Tom Aspinall, but the fight that I wanted to see more than anything was Alex Pereira against John Jones at heavyweight. All right, see what you guys are all about. And I feel like we got robbed. That's like this generation of Brock Lesnar and Fedor Emelianenko. Really wanted to see what those guys are all about, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. All right, I'm taking tomorrow off. I need a day. I need a day to take off. I need a day to take care of all my personal stuff, doctors and dentists and a little bit of everything, laundry, and just to get my mind right with everything. You need like a mental health day. You want to categorize tomorrow as a mental health day? All right, we'll do that as well. But I've been doing a lot. I've been running hard. I've been burning the candle at both ends. I need tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day I need to sleep in. My mind needs to rest. It really does. My mind needs to rest. A lot of baseball. Hockey's coming up, and with hockey going to start on Thursday, I'm going to be suited and booted. Like, things are going to be crazy. So sometimes you just got to listen to your body, and I implore everybody out there, use those mental health days. Use those days to relax and take care of yourself. And I didn't think about it until this morning, actually, and I was just like, I needed to decompress. I needed to, you guys know me, man. You know me, and I've said this a lot. Like, I won't be outworked. I'm going to work my ass off, but there's certain days, man, where you just have to kind of sit back, turn everything off, turn the phone off, and just be you and do you and go to the pool or go to the beach or just, I think I might go to the beach tomorrow, early maybe. Just go to the beach, sit on the sand, and just kind of let breathe in the air, man. I need some of that USA, right, from Bad Boys. USA, I need some of that. We'll be back on Wednesday ready to roll. We know the new Rays owners are speaking tomorrow, so we'll talk about that on Wednesday. We've got a lot to get into, man. We've got a lot to get into, a lot to do. Great week ahead. Lightning season opener on Thursday. Bulls on Friday night. Super excited on what the rest of 2025 holds, man. It's October 6th. Can you believe it? A big thank you to Ian Beckles joining us on the program today. What a show, man. Make sure you guys kill that like button, whether you're watching here live or whether you're going to watch it later on. Kill that like button and make sure you subscribe and like the channel here. Follow me on all social media platforms at Recher and SRQ Tom. You can definitely work too hard and burn out doing something you love. Enjoy the rest. Tom, you're the best, buddy. You are all over it today. SRQ Tom, you are the man. Keep an eye out. We're still working on the website. That should be done by the end of the week. As far as the website and the t-shirts and the memberships, that'll be done by Friday. That's another thing. Tomorrow, just going to take that day, just chill out, be able to take care of some stuff like that. But just going to relax. And I implore everybody out there to be able to do that. Take care of yourself. Get your mind right. Get your body right, because you only get one. I love you all. Big thank you to Honest Hammer and EverHealth. You guys are the best. So grateful for you guys as sponsors. But yeah, it's going to wrap it up for me. I love you all. We'll see you on Wednesday. Off tomorrow. Back on Wednesday at noon right here on the Recher Podcast. I'm gone. Peace out.